Good afternoon, welcome to Channel 44. I'm Masiga Shegusembatia together with
Noaheriza Bill Clinton and Livingston Kawesi for sign languages to welcome you in our business news bulletin this afternoon. To begin with the local business updates, we shall begin with the long-term plans of government is to have adequate internet connectivity all around Uganda and its parishes to the hardest reached areas of the country. However, one of the biggest challenges encountered on this plan is shortage of electricity in some parts of this country. Speaking at the launch of Digital Economy Showcase in Kampala, Charles Oleny Ojok, the Deputy Executive Director National Planning, revealed that the government acknowledges the problem of the shortage of electricity in some parts of the country and plans of action are underway. Government in this pledges to extend at least solar energies to these places for easy access and use of ICT and the internet services. Mr. Charles also noted that it's not with the case on major cities. As for them, internet and ICT they have, and government is in its attempt to acquire $500 million as a loan from the World Bank to mainly smile at the ICT sector. Dennis Kato has more of this story for us.
Areas of Uganda having adequate internet connectivity. In the past, you may know that the ICT backbone connections have been limited, or we've achieved so far connections up to all the major towns and the districts of Uganda. They all are on the ICT backbone. We are now, as government, having a project that hopes to deliver internet to the hard-to-reach areas inclusive. Here, government is having an option of it's a question of how do we power our internet. Where there is electricity, well and good, we will rely on the already existing electricity. However, in the areas where electricity is hard to reach or has not reached yet, government is devising an innovative solution of providing an option of solar-powered internet connectivity, and so that, to a large extent, in my view, will go a long way to also include these areas that have lagged behind on account of being far from the last electricity connection, towards creating adequate infrastructure coverage in order to be able to drop the cost of internet. There have been many reasons why internet has been expensive, majorly being inadequate access to what you call the bandwidth that has limited the access to internet itself, and so the procurement or the purchase of what amount of bandwidth has been expensive. But we think that with the interventions that government has put in the ICT sector, we believe this will gradually be able to drop down. And as I have said, once we are able to deliver the last mile of connectivity, obviously we think internet should drop, the cost of internet should drop, and therefore making it accessible to the members of the communities, to the institutions of government at the parish level, for instance. That government is in the process of procuring. It hasn't yet been concluded, but I'm aware that government has already given a nod to the acquisition of that loan in order to support the last mile connectivity. This is what I spoke to earlier. So it is what government, I was able to tell you what government is doing as of now. So that is work in progress, but through that loan, we should be able to connect up to our parishes.
The showcase today is about also demonstrating the work local technology entrepreneurs are doing, especially those who are using technology to build solutions in various sectors like agriculture, like in education, in health. But more importantly, what we hope to achieve is to shine a spotlight on the work they are doing, but also to bring on the table various stakeholders who can support this work, whether it is in regards to policy or even investment capital, but also technology infrastructure to enable them to succeed. Internet connectivity. So one of the questions we're trying to answer is how can you still offer services to people in communities where there is not necessarily connectivity? How can you bring them into the digital economy? How do you support farmers who are in a place where there is no technology infrastructure or data?
Additionally, on the economy, Japheth Kawanguzi, the team leader, Innovation Village and Innovators of Digital Economy Program, has also babbled the significance of the Digital Economy Program and explained that it is vying to support people in education sectors, agriculture, health, and these ICT innovations. Mr. Mwanguzi urged the youth that also intend to use ICT as a tool to access and have jobs or job opportunities, and promised that as planned goals, citizens will be enriched with these new innovations. Dennis Kato has it more for us.
Well, we'll now look into our international news update, Bill, right? Yes, in our international news update, Russian oil is still finding its way to buyers around the world. But even those who spent their days tracking its movement across oceans struggle to work out exactly who is faring it, as Western sanctions against Russia have escalated over its invasion of Ukraine. More ships have joined an existing fleet of mysterious tankers ready to facilitate Russia's oil exports. Industry insiders estimate the size of that shadow fleet at roughly 600 vessels, or about 10% of the global number of large tankers, and numbers continue to climb. Who owns and who operates many of these ships remains a puzzle. As trading Russian oil became more complex over the past year, many Western shippers withdrew their services. New obscure players swooped in, with shell companies in Dubai or Hong Kong involved in some cases. Some bought boats from Europeans, while others tapped old creaking ships that might have otherwise ended up in the scrapyard. The under-the-radar fleet has increased in importance as Moscow tries to avoid working with Western shippers and customers in China and India supplant those in Europe, now banned from purchasing seaborne Russian oil and redefined products such as diesel. Delivery to more distant buyers requires additional boats and ship owners willing to deal with added complexity and legal risk. Tesla is planning to build a new factory in Mexico, joining other car makers bulking up their presence south of the U.S. border. Mexico President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said the plant for the electric farm would be in Monterrey, which is about a 3-hour drive from Texas. Tesla is expected to share more in presentation to investors today. Mexico had previously raised concerns about how water demands from the factory might affect the region. Mr. López Obrador said he had won commitments from Tesla boss Elon Musk that had helped ease those worries. And manufacturers in Asia's two biggest economies are performing very differently after the pandemic. Factory activity in China expanded last month at the fastest pace in more than a decade, according to official figures. However, in Japan, manufacturing activity shrunk in February at the fastest pace in over 2 years. Firms around the world are balancing reopening as COVID restrictions ease against rising costs of everything from energy to workers' wages. China's Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index PMI rose to 52.6 from 50.1 in January, according to China's National Bureau of Statistics. It was the highest monthly reading since April 2012. In Washington, a powerful House committee is set to vote on a bill that would make it easier to ban TikTok from the United States and crack down on other China-related economic activity amid vocal objections from civil liberties advocates who argue the proposal is unconstitutionally broad and threatens a wide range of online speech. The legislation introduced on Friday and fast-tracked by Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCaul would empower the Biden administration to impose a nationwide TikTok ban under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA. Moving on, China has accused the U.S. of overreacting after federal employees were ordered to remove their video app TikTok from government-issued phones. On Monday, the White House gave government agencies 30 days to ensure that employees did not have the Chinese-owned app on federal devices. The order follows similar moves by the EU and Canada in recent weeks. A spokesperson for China's foreign ministry accused the U.S. of abusing state power to suppress foreign firms. They said they firmly oppose the wrong actions, and that's according to the spokeswoman Mao Ning when she was speaking to reporters during a press briefing on Tuesday. In the United Kingdom, the European Parliament has banned TikTok from staff devices
Canada and China, the Prime Minister stated,
meaning the Chinese video sharing app is now barred in all 3 EU nations that have main institutions. The Parliament also strongly recommended that its members and staff remove TikTok from their personal devices. TikTok, which is owned by Beijing-based ByteDance, told the press, "It's disappointing to see that other government bodies and institutions are banning TikTok on employee devices with no deliberation or evidence." They added that these bans are based on basic misinformation about the TikTok company, and they are readily available to meet with the officials to set the record straight about their ownership structure and their commitment to privacy and data security. They said they share a common goal with governments that are concerned about user privacy, but these bans are misguided and do nothing for further privacy or security. And still about TikTok, the company announced today that every user under 18 will soon have their accounts default to 1 hour daily screen time limit in one of the most aggressive moves yet by a social media company to prevent teens from endless scrolling. Teenage TikTok users will be able to turn off this new default setting, which will roll out in the coming weeks. The future change could bolster the digital well-being of young users by requiring them to opt out of stricter screen time limits rather than clearing the higher bar of opting into them. And in India, the nation of India has imposed the highest number of internet shutdowns globally in 2022, according to a revelation from a new report in what critics say is yet another blow to the country's commitment to freedom of speech and access to information. Over 187 internet shutdowns recorded worldwide. 84 took place in India, according to the report published on Tuesday by Access Now, a New York-based advocacy group that tracks internet freedom. This is the 5th consecutive year the world's largest democracy of more than 1.3 billion people has topped the list, according to the group, raising concerns about India's commitment to internet freedom under its current Bharatiya Janata Party government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Nearly 60% of India's internet shutdowns last year occurred in Indian-administered Kashmir, where authorities disrupted access due to political instability and violence, according to the report. In August 2019, the BJP revoked the autonomy of the Muslim-majority state of Jammu and Kashmir and split it into 2 federally administered territories, bringing the region under greater control of New Delhi. The unprecedented decision sparked protests, and the government has frequently restricted communication lines since a move rights group says aimed at quashing dissent. And in the United States, in New York, Nissan is recalling more than 700,000 Rogue and Rogue Sports compact SUVs because they can be shut off accidentally while driving. Some model year 2016 through 2020 Nissan Rogue and 2017 through 2022 Rogue Sports have jackknife-style keys, the key type which the metal blade of the key flips out from within a plastic key fob. An internal joint in the key can weaken over time, allowing the key to accidentally fold while in use. If this happens while the key is in the ignition, then the vehicle can be accidentally turned off if the key is touched or bumped. The recall only involves the base Rogue S and smaller Rogue Sports S models. Nissan hasn't yet worked out a solution to the problem, according to the document the automaker filed with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Once a solution is available, it will be provided by Nissan dealers free of charge. In the meantime, owners of vehicles involved in the recall are advised not to attach anything to the keys that might pull it down, and also to insert the key into the ignition in a direction that allows the key to fold only upward and not down. Nissan is not aware of any deaths or injuries that have resulted from this issue, according to a Nissan spokesperson. Still in business, another top executive at collapsed cryptocurrency firm FTX has pleaded guilty to criminal charges in the United States. Former engineering director Nishad Singh admitted 6 charges, which included 3 counts of conspiracy to commit fraud yesterday. The plea comes after FTX boss Sam Bankman-Fried has been accused of 12 criminal charges, which he denies. FTX filed for bankruptcy last year, leaving many users unable to withdraw their funds. Prosecutors have said the fall was caused by a massive scheme run by Mr. Bankman-Fried, who has been released on $250 million bail while awaiting trial.
And from the East African crude oil pipeline, Total Energies, the lead developers in the East African crude oil pipeline project, as well as the Tilenga oil project, have been cleared of wronging by French court. The suit was brought by 2 French and 4 Ugandan NGOs, which accused Total Energies of taking land from more than 100,000 people without adequate compensation and drilling a natural park with endangered species. This case, which was before the Paris Civil Court, was dismissed on a ruling that the case's evidence was not acceptable, valid, and the plaintiffs did not correctly follow the court procedures. Court also said the plaintiffs submitted accounts in December last year that were completely different from those that were presented to Total Energies in a formal notice in 2019 when the case was identified.
Well, that brings us to the end of this afternoon's news bulletin. Thank you for watching Channel 44. We remind all the women that Pastor Jessica Kayanja will be hosting a women's prayer day here at the Miracle Center Cathedral. It's a day of prayer, pulling down altars and all those attacks of the enemy on our families and on our lives. Come fasted, come ready to wage war in the spirit. Your life will not remain the same again. And this weekend, Pastor Robert Kayanja is in Juba, South Sudan, with the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ. Remember, he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And this time, it's the time for Juba to receive the power of God in an expedient way. So keep praying for the Juba mission, and God will richly bless you. Bill.
And of course, all these things can make a lot of meanings when you advise your colleagues or your fellows, your peers, on which platforms they get us, on whatever satellites they bear in their houses. If for those that shall not be able to be with us in South Sudan, but they can get us on different platforms. And we continue to inform you on DSTV. You shall advise them to get us on plate number 297. Go TV, they get us at 812. Star Times, tell them to get us at 290. Then Zuku TV at 056. When they have Azam TV, they shall get us on 152, free to air on number 12. Star Times decoder, they get us at 468. Then we are also on mobile applications where your TV, Airtel TV, and Afro mobile app.
Well, that brings us to the end of this afternoon's business news segment. Thank you. The Big Tunes program is up next, and it will be brought to you by DJ Kush and DJ Nick D here in Channel 44 Studios. Stay tuned and have fun.
We hope to dance together in the Big Tunes, since it is my belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday, Bill.
So humbled by the Apocalypse family that is wondering me with so many messages. So we have to dance together in the Big Tunes program.
No, you'll have to invite the Apocalypse family to come and join dance with you. Anyway, enjoy your afternoon. I remain Mercy Gashegu Sembatia.
Stay blessed.